Alrighty, folks. We are here, Jedi and the Mailman, but it's actually Jedi and Commander Taylor this
I'm the
evening.
mailman.
Taylor, yeah, Jedi and the Zookeeper. Yeah, we have all
Oh,
kinds of fun. That's what we could have gone with that, Jedi and the Zookeeper. Yeah, once again, Mike is out. Uh, Family stuff, personal stuff. He will be back next week for our fun chat with Josh Patton from CBR.com. And so, I don't know if you know this, Taylor. We did an episode where we kind of talked about an article he wrote, and we didn't care for it that much. Um,
oh.
and you know, and what's the chances of someone from CBR.com finding us as a small little podcast? And he did. And we've had some really good correspondence. And like we said, everyone's allowed to have an opinion, and we want people to have opinions, and we don't all have to get along. And uh, and so he's going to come on the show, and he's going to talk about, because he feels like we missed a couple things,
Okay,
which is
fair
fine
enough.
because we didn't write the article. So he's going to come on. He's going to talk about that. He's got some things he wants to talk about. He's going to promote a couple things as well because the guy's involved in so much. It's pretty cool. Um, and then what? And and then from there, we're just going to have some fun Star Wars conversations. So we're all pretty excited. CEO Star Wars says hi, everyone. Howdy. So go over there
Hello.
on Instagram. So Taylor is joining us. Taylor, you've been busy with Explore the Force this week.
I know. I can't get rid of you guys.
No.
No, you know what? I very much enjoy chatting with you guys, and I feel like not a whole lot of people are that level of fandom as me. So when I get to actually like dig into stuff with you guys, it's so much fun. Whereas I'm like, oh, did you hear about this with my husband? And he's like, just Taylor, no. So I'm like, it's fine. I'll save it till Tuesday.
Yeah, there you go. Well, yeah, we're glad to be an outlet and have you back doing stuff with us. It's awesome. Um, we're
Yeah,
thankful for that.
yeah.
And
Thanks for having me back.
of course, of course, of course. So Taylor and I are going to chat about a few different things tonight. We are going to look at some Mark Hamill news, which they did cover. The ladies covered. They had a No Boys Allowed episode again on Sunday, and that came out today. The YouTube and podcast are both up, so you can check those out. And then you guys covered a little bit of, you covered a lot. Actually, you covered a lot of news. There was like 30 minutes of news, which is really long for the show, but it's just like
Yeah.
we usually are like struggling to find news that's not like pointless, and you guys got like just pelted with like big important things and covered it really well, so I thought that was great. And then so we're going to talk a little bit about that, a little bit about the High Republic, and then given how much time we have left, Taylor and I are reading a book. Well, I am finished with it. Taylor has to work because she's not a teacher, so I had some free time and some rainy weather these last couple of days, so I was able to crush the last 100 pages or so of Justina Ireland's The Acolyte Wayseeker. And don't turn us off because you heard the word acolyte. Because I know people, that don't love it, and we like parts of it, didn't like
Yeah.
parts of it. I thought it had some potential. I think Taylor, you kind of said something similar too, because your pitch was High Republic stuff, and of course that always gets tied into the acolyte these days because people really don't know what the actual High
Yeah.
Republic is. So
And you know what? I'll repeat it. Okay. So High Republic, the High Republic is one thing. Oh, the golden age of the Republic, the Jedi. Yes, amazing. The Acolyte, also good. Different. Acolyte time. Don't put the High Republic and the Acolyte in the same time frame. The dates aren't even the same.
no characters
End
will
it.
some characters cross over, some don't. We'll talk a little bit about that too. I think this book, I can't wait. Taylor and I will be diving into it, possibly with a friend, if we get that worked out. If not, we'll dive into it, Taylor and I, because spoiler alert, I love this book. So,
Yeah.
but
And I was dragging my feet on this book. Jimmy's poking me like, "Come on, Taylor, come on." I'm like, "Oh, yes, okay, I'm behind. Okay, I'll get it." But I actually am liking this book way more than I thought I would, and I hate going into things negatively, but I kind of did, and I'm kind
do you
of
think you and I read a lot of the books? I mean, that's kind of our thing. we kind of bond over that. And like you said in our review for Into the Light, which we kind of differed a little bit on, not much, but we felt kind of disappointed in a lot of the things that aren't the High Republic right now.
Yeah.
Not everything. Like I don't want to sit there and like poo poo on Lucasfilm Publishing and Random House and all those guys because like it's good work. I couldn't do it. I
Yeah.
mean, but it just something about the High Republic and that connectivity. It's like what Marvel has with all these through stories and this big ending. And I mean, it's like the Marvel's Avengers, Age of Ultron, Infinity Wars,
Yeah.
and that's about to happen. So that'll be one of the things we'll talk about too, and I'm sure we'll get into that more. And then Taylor and I, if you're into the High Republic, Taylor and I will be trying to rip through the final book and then have some friends on and talk about that. And then we'll probably have to do a whole spiel on the High Republic itself, like just a big, massive recap, which will be insane. So I'm looking forward to those. I'm sad that it's happening, that we're talking about that now, because it seems like, what's it been, like 3 years, 4 years, something? I mean, it's been a minute
It's
with
been
all this.
3 years of my life. I missed phase 1.
Okay. I couldn't
Yeah,
remember. I
so
knew.
yeah, because I was like, I have so many other books. I don't want to get started on a new like whole big like collection. And when phase 2 came out, which is some of you guys know, it's like 150 years even farther back
Yeah.
than the regular High Republic, as you can see my cosplay in the background.
Yeah.
Um, and I decided I'm going to start here. So I started as far back as I possibly could, and then read all those books / listened, and then I read phase 1. And to me, that just makes sense in the timeline for me.
Yeah.
But so yeah, it's been 3 years of my life. That's
Yeah. I think I
almost
read
over.
something. Yeah, I know. It's pretty sad. We got Niall. Paul Benson says, I just started going through the films again, just finished the originals. Oh, it's always fun to go back through and do a rewatch, isn't it? Like,
You
just,
need it.
you can, because like we all have our favorite films. And like, I don't ever, there's a couple that I'll skip, like if we're just watching a film or something and it's like, I'll throw in Solo for me, or I don't know, what's your
Like The Last
go-to?
Jedi.
Yeah, yeah. So, but yeah, you'll never hear those words come out of my mouth. But the Last Jedi part. But yeah, it's good to go through and watch them all again and kind of get that connectivity. And so that's a fun way to spend your summertime. But
Yeah.
so let's go ahead, Taylor. What were you gonna say?
Oh, I was just gonna say, right now is the perfect time, and I feel like a lot of people are starting. They're starting the trilogy again, but they're starting with the OT
Yeah,
because everyone's coming off of Andor, and it changes so much. Oh, it's so good. So right now is a good time. A lot of people are doing
yeah.
it. So
Yeah, it's a great time to be a Star Wars fan. You come out of Andor, you watch Rogue One, and then of course that leads you right into A New Hope, and then you just it kind of spirals from there. So
yeah, and then you're looking into the background, like, look, there's Mon Mothma. Oh, who's this old
yeah,
guy? Oh, like I love it. I love the
yeah, I love
connectability.
that. Yeah, it's so much fun. Um, so yeah, we're looking forward to that, or getting back into. I'm actually trying to figure out a way. I'm looking for an article because I don't want to do the research myself. I want to go through everything Star Wars on Disney Plus in chronological order. I think you and I talked about this before.
Yeah.
And I want to do it in a year and then just kind of report back on like what my brain feels like after I've watched everything that Star Wars has to
Like the
offer.
rebels and everything.
Rebels, Star Wars. If I had to throw Resistance in there, I will. I don't even. So I'll suffer through it. I'm not a huge fan, but do it. I'll do it for the cause. But all right. So here, let me see. Let's get up our first thing. And Taylor, I'll let you kind of start off because after we kind of read through this, let me see screen share. Again, I'm using a different computer today, so I am struggling going from a Mac to a PC. But I'm thankful that I have this to use. I'm going to pull some of this nonsense off the screen real quick. Just take that off there real quick. All right, so this is from Hollywood Reporter, and you can find this if you type in Mark Hamill's done with Star Wars. Everyone and their mother's reporting on it. The ladies reported on it this weekend. While Mark Hamill was interviewing for his new movie, The Life of Chuck, which stars Tom Hiddleston, which looks pretty good, by the way. I've watched the trailer because of this. I'll probably go see it now that I know Mark Hamill's in it. He was asked if we should expect him to be in episode, or what they're calling, Star Wars 10, or whatever's the Rey trilogy, right? And he goes, I am so grateful to George Lucas for letting me be part of that back in the day, the humble days when George called Star Wars the most expensive, low budget movie ever made. And Hamill, during the interview with comicbook.com to promote his new film, The Life of Chuck. We never expected it to become a permanent franchise and a part of pop culture like that. But my deal is, I had my time. I'm appreciative of that. But I really think they should focus on the future and all the new characters. And by the way, he added, when I disappeared in The Last Jedi, I left my robes behind, and there's no way I'm coming back as a naked Force ghost. You should watch the video. There's a YouTube. It's on YouTube. Go to cbr.com, I think, and they will. There's a good, like, you can kind of see his face and things like that, and he's kind of talking about stuff. Taylor, what are your thoughts on him saying, no, I'm not coming back to Star Wars anymore? That, number one. And then number two, is he right? Is it time to move on?
I mean, I
And what do you guys
feel
think
like
out there too?
yeah, I feel like a lot of the fans openly voiced that they felt like Luke Skywalker deserved better. And I think Mark Hamill is one of those people who is influenced by that kind of stuff. So I think that he kind of over the years has decided, yes, okay, I'm kind of done with this. The story, we don't know what's going to happen with the new Rey story, right? But and you think back, and I know that we all know that Mark Hamill had these contracts that he had signed years and years ago to do like 7, 8, and 9 or whatever. So I don't believe he had a contract signed for number 10. So this might be his first chance that he can actually say no. And he might be taking it because of all the drama that happened with the last 3.
Yeah, that's possible.
Like
I
a
mean,
different just think about it. He had to meet a new director. He had to meet all new every time. This is the new direction now. And so for him, it probably was just like, oh, this isn't the feel of Star Wars that I've been used to over the years. So and then, like I said, with the fans openly saying, like, oh, Luke deserved better and everything, I think that he did say no. And
yeah.
because would he even really be able to say stuff about Disney if he was still on like a contract?
No, I mean, he wouldn't be allowed to regardless.
Mhm.
If you watch the video, because he and this young man, I don't know the kid's name. I'm assuming it's the young version of Tom Hiddleston's character. I don't know that for a fact. I just kind of piecing things together. But um, and the guy asked him, and he was like, "What?" And he's like, he is a good actor. So he was
Mm,
either putting it out, selling it really, really well, or he really has no clue, like, what's going on, which I don't know. I mean, he's been pretty involved in politics, and I know that's upset people and stuff like that. But I
yeah.
think he might be right in the fact that, I mean, he's 73 now, I think. So, I mean, we still have some years with him, hopefully. I mean, I know you're always worried when people get to a certain age, but, um, like think about Carrie Fisher and stuff like that. But I do think he's right in the fact that it is time to move forward with these
Yeah.
stories. And I know people aren't thrilled with Ray, but people weren't thrilled with Ahsoka, and they weren't thrilled with this, and they were thrilled with that. And I think the more time you spend with these characters, and how well, think of it. Look what they did for Mon Mothma. I mean, this little character in Return of the Jedi that is now like the centerpiece in Star Wars.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, I don't know. I think he's right. Move forward. I don't know if I believe him that he won't show up. I feel like, you take a movie off, maybe you pop back in on the second or third one, and you're like, help Ray out in her new Jedi Order or something like that. Um, so I don't know. What do you guys out there think? Will Mark Hamill come back? Is he done with Star Wars? Does he need something happen? He'll need a paycheck and put. I don't know how old his kids have got to be pretty old and through college and all that kind of stuff. So maybe he just wants to enjoy his life a little bit.
Maybe he's just pulling a George and just doesn't want the commentary on it anymore.
Yeah. I'm
So,
sure we'll get him at LA in 2020. Was it 2027? Right? That's when, yeah,
yeah.
2027 LA. We'll get him. We'll get Harrison Ford. Anyone who's still, with us, Billy D. All the characters from the pre or the sequel trilogy and stuff like that. I mean, that's gonna be. They should have made it 5 days. long, but
We're
so
probably we're gonna get something at that
oh yeah,
celebration for sure because that's the year that the yeah
it'll
that'll
be
be good.
huge.
And
So
then
all
they'll be
right,
like, "There's a Mando 2 movie coming out too." Like,
well, there'll definitely be something crazy. Yeah, I feel like
yeah,
um, there's that, and then okay, so the next one. So yeah, so Mark Hamill says he's done. We'll see. The only time will tell. Given his health and things like that, I haven't heard or any reports of that, but he is 73. So take
yeah.
it, what you will. Let me see here. Okay, so the next thing we got, share screen. Let me bring up Trials of the Jedi. And we're going to steal this from our good friends over at StarWarsNews.net. I'm going to try to take some down, like this media stuff down real quick. Remove that, please. There we go. And over. Whoa, what happened? Nope, nope, nope. What is happening here? Let's Again, folks, new laptop. I'm not too good with it. All right. So says here, and this is by Nate Manning. This is Star Wars: The High Republic, Trials of the Jedi. This book comes out, I believe, on the 17th.
Yeah.
Trials of the Jedi non-spoiler review. Charles Soule's roller coaster finale sends the High Republic off in immensely satisfying fashion. Well, that makes me happy to hear.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
after 4 years and 26 books, damn, it's been a
Oh,
lot of reading. Yeah, that's crazy. 26 books. And if you don't know about the High Republic, folks, it's not all these massive novels. There's YA in there, where some of those are huge.
yeah.
There's mid-grade books, and Taylor and I have read. I think have not read the last two little kid books, the mid-grade readers for the High Republic, and I'll get on that here. Maybe I'll just knock those out right before this book comes out. But Charles Soule, he started off the whole thing with The Light of the Jedi, and he introduced us to 8 million new characters. And sometimes I think that the High Republic has suffered because of that, because it was so hard to like wrap your head around all these different characters. But anyways, it says after 4 years, 26 books, the 27th and final High Republic book has arrived. These people have it early. It's not coming out for another 2 weeks or so. Charles Soule's Trials of the Jedi brings to the close the winding narrative of the golden age of Jedi and their fight against what they feared most as they race to save the galaxy. The fear has taken many forms, whether fueled by the path of the open hand or the nihil. It all traces back to the common denominator, the nameless. Monstrous creatures capable of eating the Force and devastating the Jedi Order. But the chaos they unleashed brought about another problem. The Blight, born of the same force that turns Jedi to husk, is now creeping across the galaxy. Whatever it touches is lost. Time is running out for the heroes of the High Republic to solve the nameless problem and save everything. In the lead up to the book, Soule describes Trials as a cyclone, spinning readers faster and more dangerously the deeper you go. My reading experience is more akin to a drop tower at an amusement park. The slow ascent that fills you with dread, the anticipation as you get closer to the top, then you stop in place and your sense of time dissipates. Why is it taking so long? Drop already. And then you begin to think before you drop back to earth in a blink of an eye. The ensuing rush of emotions is a sensation rarely felt anywhere else, and it changes you. That is Trials of the Jedi. It's a book that may make you scream, hoot, holler, and might reduce you to a puddle of tears. Oh boy, and regrets as you puke your guts out. But there is one thing that is for certain: Trials of the Jedi is the finale High Republic fans have been calling for. Despite some choices that won't be for everyone, such is the curse of a series finale. If you wish to know nothing else ahead of June 17th's release, feel free to duck out now. We'll only be talking about publicly available plot elements at this time. So let's stop right there. I'll stop sharing for a second. What do you think about that introduction? That is, one more time, StarWarsNews.net. They're a great resource. Nate Manning, and he just pushed that out, I believe, today. Today the 3rd? Yeah, today's the 3rd. So, yeah, that came out today. So, what do you think, Taylor, hearing that? It's a drop tower. It's a Charles Soule. Like, I mean, he's pretty vicious in Light of the Jedi, and we weren't
He
connected
really
to the
was.
characters yet.
Yeah.
So, what do you
Um,
think?
well, Nate just told me that I'm going to be crying, laughing, screaming, and barfing. So I'm pretty excited. But yeah, there's so much that needs to be wrapped up. And I really hope they do a good job wrapping it up. I I wonder if it's going to get little bit steamy, like in Temptation
Ooh,
of the Force.
Temptation of
That
the
was
Force.
good. Yeah,
Yeah,
that was good. Because
that was steamy. Really steamy. Yeah, they
yeah,
do.
let's.
Things are a little different in the High Republic for Jedi than they are when we meet them in, uh, in Star Wars: A New Hope, and even well, we can get into it, but yeah. So that's the first time I've read that whole thing. I wanted to save it for tonight. That makes me nervous. Um, it's exciting. I know this dad reads over on Instagram. He said something very similar. It kind of starts out slow, and then it just when it takes off, and it's like the first third of the book is kind of building. And Charles Soule, if you haven't read his books, and I don't know how many books he writes, he's really really involved in the comics. But
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, um, and so I thought the Light of the Jedi was kind of that because the Great Disaster, and it was like 24 hours before, 17 hours before, and there's all these like interesting characters, and then he just annihilates most of them.
Most of them. Yeah. Well, actually, so I've read Light of the Jedi probably 4 times,
Oh my
and
gosh, yeah,
I know, I'm a weirdo.
it's good.
But even then, I still had my own like album on my phone that had the Jedi's pictures with
Yeah,
their names so that I could remember, so that I could remember who everyone was because like half them are aliens and stuff. And yeah, like what you said with the attachment thing, like the Jedi back in the day could have attachments. They
seems
could.
like good.
So
Temptation of the Force would say yes to that.
oh, yeah, for sure. Oh, I'm excited.
Yeah, yeah. So, all right, are you ready to go into the rest of this? I don't think there's anything spoilerific as far as like the. I mean, he's obviously not allowed to tell us anything. It's the same thing as like people who've seen it. Um, all right, so let's get through here, maybe. Sure.
Hmm.
All right, where did I leave off? Could be
Okay.
spoilerific. All right, so there's the cover. They look amazing. They're all like Jedi armor and stuff. And what did you say that planet was called, Taylor?
So they found that new white armor. It's an ore that they found on Tolis, which is, as we learn in oh one of them, which was it
Tears of the
drops
Nameless.
Tears of the Nameless. We learn that
Man.
the Ptolemites have gone through this before, but like 1,000 years before this. So they developed this kind of armor against the blight, and they solved the blight, and they solved everything. So the key is there. The key is there.
Yeah,
But
that book, folks. I don't even know. That's probably one of my favorite books in the High Republic series. It was a YA book, I believe, but it's like
yeah.
500 pages long, and it's everything that Star Wars should be. It had creepy villains. It had adventure, like Indiana Jones type adventure, and like it's a galaxy. It doesn't all have to be. I don't know. I loved it. I know. Was it me, you, and Johnny? Right? We reviewed it, I believe. So that seems like a
Yeah.
lifetime ago, but yeah. So, folks, if you could probably read that. I don't know. It might be a little hard to follow, but man, it was so good. All right,
Yeah.
so here we go. The book centers on 9 Jedi, otherwise known as the Luminous Nine, tasked with returning the Nameless to their home on Planet X. If successful, their hope is that it fixes. Oh, we were right, Taylor.
What?
We were right.
It's too
Tasked
small. I can't
with
read it.
returning the Nameless to their home on Planet X. We just talked about that.
Oh my gosh,
Nice.
we're so on. We know what we
Yeah.
know.
If successful, because Taylor and I just reviewed, what book did we just review? Into the Light. Yeah, so that's kind of where that conversation stemmed. If you like the High Republic, go check out our catalog. We have tons of it, and on YouTube and on the podcast. But if successful, their hope is that it fixes the imbalance caused by the Nameless and stops the blight in its tracks to shield them from the Nameless effect. They wear special armor forged from one of the ores on Tolis. There you go. We didn't
Aha.
even need this article. We knew all this stuff, and we just guessing.
Look at
Um,
this.
this comes to galactic tensions reach a boiling point. Iriadu becomes a stage for a final desperate stand. Now, I know there's massive comic books coming out right now and all centered around Iriadu. Am I saying that right? Iriadu? I think so.
Iriadu, yeah.
Yeah. Is that the same place where they build where Galen Urso?
No, that's Edu.
Edu, okay. They got to use it.
Close.
Close, close, close.
Close.
Okay, can the Republic finally defeat the Nihil at their own game? Meanwhile, Marchion Ro, or Marchion Ro, depending on if you listen to the books or read the books, lingers in the shadows, ready to unleash his endgame, which is as shocking as anything seen so far in the High Republic, which is terrifying because he's unleashed a lot of things in a lot of books. Before going further, I feel it's fair to say that you may want to temper your expectations a bit if you expect this book to feature every single High Republic character in a prominent manner. Soul does an admirable job, including as many as he can, but his focus is on the 9 Jedi. Marchion and a few other select characters. As a result, Trials can feel a bit small scale at times in terms of sheer volume of locations, which might let some down if you're looking for a galaxy spanning romp. Look, these nameless, man. I want to see these guys in live action.
Oh, they would be terrifying.
They would be so scary.
Yeah.
So scary. Every member of the Luminous Nine: Avar Kriss, Elzar Mann, Burryaga, Bel Zettifar, Reese Silas, Aslan Rel, Ty York. Oh.
Oh my
Oh.
goodness.
Torben and Tarek bring something valuable to the party. They're leaving a lot of characters out, though.
Yeah.
I told you. Well, now, oh, man, that's kind of a bummer. Bring something valuable to the party thanks to individual stories told throughout the High Republic Initiative. That's where I disagree with Soul a bit when he says you can go from Light of the Jedi straight into the Trials and be just fine. While there's enough exposition for a reader to put the pieces together, it's hard to imagine several critical second and third act moments holding any emotional weight if you haven't, at the absolute least, read the Phase 1 and Phase 3 adult novels. There was one set piece that had me in a stage of euphoria, unlike anything I've ever experienced while reading a Star Wars book. Oh, if I hadn't lived with a particular character's journey over these 4 years, it would not have worked as well as it did. I know the line from Lucasfilm Publishing is that at any point in the High Republic works as a jumping on point. While I do largely agree, it's okay to tell the truth in this specific case. Trials of the Jedi works infinitely better the more High Republic content you consume. Well, how wouldn't it? I mean, right? I mean, if you're not attached to these characters, and I honestly feel like Light of the Jedi suffers because they introduce so many new characters, and it's so hard to get attached to them. Like you said, you listen to it 4 times, and you still kind of have to go through and be like, "Well, who the hell's this, and who the hell's that?" And in the first, I mean, what is it? Yaddle and Yoda. I don't even know if Yaddle's in the first book. I know Yoda's in it, like his voices and thoughts are in it, but we don't get any Jedi that we know. You know, people struggled. I struggled with that. I started reading. I'm like, oh, and then I had to make a list. I mean, I don't know. We're pretty hardcore fans, but what else here? So where are we at? Of the many highlights of the book, perhaps the biggest is the most elementary, Soul's grasp of the characters. While the book may feel self-contained, when you take a step back, Soul makes it feel larger than life because of how much he minds from these characters. Every choice carries weight, and seeing even trivial decisions change relationships gives Trials a different type of scope than what you may expect. This is a motley crew of Jedi, fallen Jedi, ex-Jedi against the world, and Soul isn't afraid to test the limits of each and every one. He does a masterful job of playing puppet master with your emotions at every moment. And I know, Taylor, you can't see this too well, but they got Avar Kriss, Elzar Mann, Aslan Rel, Burryaga, and Bel in that Tolus armor, which they looked so cool.
Nice.
Outside the Jedi, what they discover from their time on Planet X, Soul's portrayal of the Battle of Iriadu is my favorite take on the conflict to date compared to how it's been shown in the comics. He keeps the focus tight on a few characters, which grounds the action and keeps you invested. One standout is RDC fighter Jaws Arden. And that's one of the characters that Lydia Kane created, right? The Arden family, I think, who gets swept into the war alongside one of my favorite new side characters. All hail Slendo, the barkeep. Soul's writing captures the tool war takes on everyday people and the courage it takes to stand up for their one's beliefs. It's powerful, especially in the wake of Andor and its themes. The fights in the trenches can be just as gripping as those above. Holy rip. This goes on. Okay, we're almost done. I apologize. Speaking of
I'm
the
gonna
above,
grab a charger for my phone really quick. You keep going.
I'll keep going. Speaking of the above, there's General Vice. If you've been following the comics, she calls for reinforcements after the mysterious downfall of the Nihil storm wall, but she might be about to get away more than she bargained for when an old friend drops by. I've said too much already, but Soul delivers an incredibly satisfying resolution to a storyline that's been brewing for several phases now. So that's they're talking about the the Blade of Bardoga getting his
Ooh,
revenge. I think. What's his real name?
yeah.
The Blade.
Um, the Blade. Oh freak, what's his name? I've talked about him so much. He's in phase 1 and phase 2. He's the cook. He loves to cook. Um, why can't I think of
Uh,
it? He's the big white guy with
yeah,
the.
it's
I
kind of
don't
a
mean like white dude. I mean like
yeah.
actually
He's
white.
old. He kind of looks like Hellboy with his like horns chopped off and stuff.
Yeah.
So there are
Um.
there are an endless number of talking points in this book that require much deeper analysis. If I had to pick at a couple of flaws, it's that while Soul nails a lot of the endings, there remain a few that feel either undercooked, dropped entirely, or not quite the right answer to a question we've been asking. It also feels like the book peaks a bit too early dramatically, which feels strange to say given what happens after that point, but I digress. All of these would be criticisms are in spoiler territory. I'm very much in contemplation mode after wrapping up a saga that consumed over 4 years of my life. Overall, if you're looking for a High Republic finale that will take you on a one of a kind and bold ride, Trials of the Jedi is your book. The rate at which the book escalates from 0 to 100 resets and then hits a whole new 100 needs to be studied. And all of the comebacks to Markion Rowe, who I don't dare get into. His status as an all time Star Wars villain will be fun to debate once it's all said and done. There are still a few more comics to go until the initiative rides off into the sunset. For now, Charles Soule has himself another winner, and I cannot wait to dive further into this book with this world. So, holy rip. All right, let's stop sharing. What do you think, Taylor?
Uh. Well, I'm still trying to figure out this guy's freaking name because it's bothering the heck out of me. No, see, that's even wrong. Um, I think that it has to have a bit of a slow burn because there's so much they need to cover. Like there it there's no way that it could be high action all the way across because there's like a lot of research that's gone into it. There's like studies and like I'm actually surprised we're getting Reith Silas again because we just got him in that last book and he was very involved in that. So I was thinking that because I was thinking that we were going to get different characters in the last couple of books, but we didn't. So I'm wondering if maybe they're going to show up in like the comics. Like we got to get Keeve and we have to get like Lorna and all those people. So
Well,
like maybe
I
they'll
don't,
be in it. Maybe they will be. I don't
I don't
know.
want to give
But
too much away about Wayseeker, but
mm,
Justina Ireland, who's been a writer, she mentions a few of those people you just talked about, and she has a specific name for them. And I don't want to say anything more than that because I don't want to give it away. And the guy's name is
but
Porter Angle.
yes. Okay.
I knew it was like an old timey kind of name. It wasn't like, like, oh, Porter, like, and then his sister, the Barish Vow, is named after her. And then he
Yeah.
has beef with General Vice. So this has been going on for like 300 years. These two characters have been like beefing with each other. And
Yeah.
so I'm assuming he's talking about how that ends, which for Porter's sake, I hope he and General take each other out so he can just be done. That dude has lived a long life.
He
So,
really has. He's been through so much. And I honestly I thought that he was gone when the ship exploded in like Temptation of the
yeah.
Force. But no, he's back. So apparently
Yeah.
he can just float in space, just like Leia. Just like
There
Leia.
you go. Leia Poppins all over again.
Yeah,
So
Porter Poppins. Yeah.
Porter Poppins, there you go. So hearing all that, what do you think? Are you nervous? More, I mean, I know we're both excited and we're both like, ah, crap, it's coming to an end. But how are you feeling after hearing that? And how excited are you that we were right about some of these things that we were guessing?
Clearly they need us in the publishing department because we
Yeah.
knew where this was going. Um I'm
Story group,
so
here we
ex-
come.
I'm so excited because I love that up and down emotion. Um I really hope they get Mark Thompson to voice it all.
He has,
um,
I'm almost positive he has because he has been pushing stuff out on his Facebook page. So he needs to
yeah.
do it because we have not had, I want to say this politically correctly. Mark sets a standard for audiobooks that not a lot of people can reach, and like the last couple have not been his voice, and I think the books suffer for it.
Yeah, he knows the characters, like I'm sorry, but it was Mark Thompson that gave Markion Rowe that creepy vibe, like that creepy talk, like so and even like people after that and the books and the comics have actually like gone off of that. I swear, Mark, you're awesome. But like I have been researching the High Republic. So like as Reese Silas is like doing all his research on how to figure out the there's me going back into phase 2 and I'm like reading all of those books again of where they actually go to Planet X. And Bacana is like one of the people on the ships that goes to take all the eggs, and
Yeah.
he's like, the blight will come out into the galaxy, and like there's so much there that we didn't even know is there. So go back. It talks about the stones. It talks about the rods. Like all these different rods, like do different things, and
Yeah.
like the rods were created by the Ptolemites and they seem to figure it out, but one of the rods is missing. But now Reese Silas has the one rod, but where did the other rod go? It's a lot, and I'm so excited, but I'm also like a tiny little bit worried that what if I am disappointed? What if, Jimmy?
Oh man. I don't want to think about it, Taylor, but you're right. I mean, what if, and I trust Nate, the guy who wrote them. He's been in it since the beginning. I know that we've gone back and we've read some of his stuff, and um, I can't imagine if people don't know this. We've interviewed a couple of the authors, and they've all said the same thing. Every 2 weeks, they all meet, and not all of them have been involved every step of the way, but they're all welcome to come into these meetings, and they give input, and like while one's writing a book, they're talking about what they need another character to do. So there's been this massive tie-in. So Charles Soule is getting credit for writing these characters, but he hasn't written a thing since the first book.
Right.
So there's no way that I can conceive of. No, I'm sure he's probably read everything, or he got synopsises and things. I mean, the guy's busy as well, creating a lot of stuff. I
Yeah.
don't think he's writing this by himself. You know what I
No.
mean? Cavan Scott, George Mann, Lydia King, Tessa Grattan, Justina Ireland, all these people, and Claudia Gray. I mean, there's so many uh, uh, authors. I don't want to disrespect any of them. Daniel Jose Older, who's been doing a big push on the comics and things like that as well. There's no way this is not just like a one person deal.
Yeah.
You know what I
Like
mean? Like,
not a single one of those writers wants this end to their baby that they've all made
yeah,
to end badly. So you're right, where everyone had to help. And that's one of the things that I absolutely loved about the High Republic was that everybody was involved in the
yeah,
planning.
and
Like
you can
all of
tell.
them came up. Yeah, because they all connect so well. Little things that you don't even notice, right? Like the lawn pop flowers or little things, and you're like, oh, I know where those come
Your
from.
brain's going to explode when you get a little bit further into the Wayseeker too. Like, there's so many callbacks to the High Republic in it, and you don't need to know them to make it. It's just like he said. Like, it's a great story, even if you don't know the characters. But there's characters that I don't want to say anymore. But
We love
yeah,
characters.
that
We
we
love.
love and
I'm
that
all.
you love, Taylor. I know for a fact that you love a couple of them, and there's some good callbacks. But it stands on its own as a story. But yeah, I don't know. I just don't believe that it will be bad. I mean, yeah, there's not gonna. I mean, it's not gonna be. It's not gonna be perfect. Nothing is, and you
Right.
got to take it for like. I mean, he's got to close off. I mean, they talk about the Luminous Nine or whatever, those 9 Jedi, but we've been following what 25, maybe 30 different characters kind of through these stories, and there's even more in the comic books, which I think I wasn't sure what I was
Yeah.
going to do with my time in between. I have 2 weeks. I might dive into the High Republic stuff for this phase. They pushed a lot out and see if I can glean some ideas of where things might go. But yeah, I think that'll be great. I'm sure that like some of his Nate's stuff's probably like, well, he didn't want someone to die or something to end this way, and it's never going to be perfect, but I think it's
Yeah.
going to be awesome.
I freaking love it when they kill off characters. Like it's like, oh, but they mean
That's
business and that guy's dead. Like,
that's one of the things about the High Republic versus reading the Mace Windu book, or um, even Wayseeker had these things where like you knew these two characters weren't going to die because we know that this book comes before the Acolyte, so we know both these characters from that. So like there are no stakes except for like 2 or 3 characters that we know of.
Yeah.
So everyone, I mean, like Lydia King, I mean, she laid waste to the second phase of characters, and Cavan Scott's done it. George Mann has done it. I mean, George Mann probably wrote the most terrifying and disturbing death of Amadeo's master, and I can't think of his name right now. But
Oh,
just like I have like just thinking about it in my head, and I got to ask George about it, and he goes, "Yeah," he goes, "I wanted it to like be devastating," and he's like, "It's not even as intense as I wanted it," So I was like, "Geez, dude, like,
yeah,
like,
Master Miro.
yeah, there you go,
Oh
Hero Locks, yeah,
God, that is actually such a freaky little scene. Like you read it, and you're just like, oh,
yeah."
like
It's
the goosebumps. Woo!
so, but yeah, so we got that. I'm pretty excited for it, and then I don't know, I'm just looking forward to it, man. Can't
Me
wait.
too.
Yeah. And Taylor and I will, like I said, we'll try to get through it as fast as we can, and then hop on and do some stuff with it. I'm sure there'll be a lot of. I just hope it catches on. I think they need a movie or a TV show that's like actual High Republic, even if it was animated.
Yeah. Like
So
like I'm sorry, like the Acolyte had a lot of good things in it, had a lot of weird stuff in it too. But there are so many good things about the High Republic that they just didn't even, like they
yeah,
missed that shot by so far. And was that not the whole reason for the High Republic books in the first place? Was to get super excited about this 5 seasons of the Acolyte that we were supposed to be getting? Like, and now it's like,
yeah,
joke's on you, the books are 10 times better.
the books are
But
so good.
yeah, and I don't know if it comes right back down to like the writers and like the way these guys, like all of our favorite authors now
Yeah,
have planned this out in the storyboards and the meetings every 2 weeks. Like they got this down, right?
yeah,
And
for
then
sure.
these other people came in that just didn't, they weren't part of the planning. They didn't know. They didn't get the feel. It's just different.
Yeah,
And then we have the Wayseeker book that I'm only on chapter 12 on, and it's got one of our High Republic writers, not TV show writers, writing the script for the characters that we're like, about, and it's so good. Like
yeah,
keep the same characters, just get better, right? I don't even want to say better writers because I hate being negative, but
yeah. But
different writers.
it was flawed, and to be tied to the High Republic and what they did to Vernestra, and they kind
Yeah,
of
they
this
turned
book.
her into the opposite of what she is.
I'm really curious as to what happens with her in this. I know what happens to one of the Luminous Nine because she is coming up, but I want to see if Vernestra was listed in that.
I don't think
See,
she
Vernestra
was.
wasn't listed in the Luminous Nine, which isn't she the reason like her hyperspace visions are the reason like yeah, so
Yeah,
that's
she's
weird.
got the map to Planet X in her head. Like that's my plan. That's my thinking, anyways.
You're probably right. You were right about this other stuff too. So yeah, you're definitely right. You got to be right about that. But anyways, so yeah, so I'm going to pivot a little bit. We don't have time to really dive into the topic that I wanted. And I was assuming that might happen when you and I get talking High Republic. So I'm not mad about it. I'll save it for you, and I'll tell you this, Taylor. When you get to page 184 in the book,
I'm
all
gonna write it
right,
down.
when you get to page
184.
184, you need to message me and be like, I know exactly what you wanted to talk about because you
Okay.
will. There's no way that you won't know what I want to talk about. I don't think. But anyway, so
Okay.
we're gonna go for like 5-6 more minutes. How is the best way for Disney, Lucasfilm, Disney Plus to get the High Republic in front of us in a format that's on a screen of some sort? What do you think? Like, that's off the top of your head? How do you want to see this? I mean, I think we both would be, oh, I want a movie, or how would you break it down, or what would you do? Where would you start?
I feel like they already failed at putting it as a Disney Plus show, but I don't know if there would be enough content for a movie unless they took all the events out of these books.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, let's say they want to bring the High Republic publishing initiative to us in a like they're not going. You know how like Marvel uses all the comics, and they change things a little bit, but they use the comics as their basis for all the movies and things like that, right? We're
Yeah.
getting Doomsday and all these other things. If they use the High Republic, how do you want them to do it? Because now we're gonna use these stories that these beloved writers of ours have sweat and spent years and years and years. How do you want them to do it?
Ah, man, I would love to see a movie, but I feel like Disney Plus is probably the best way to go about it. But it would be really cool if they if they started like it was almost like Yoda teaching like a history class or something, just started like
Yeah.
that or whatever. And then it's like, here's the histories, because there's even been a couple of books, like it was like a super short audible special, and it was like an Anakin and Obi-Wan book, and
Oh yeah.
they brought up, was it the Nameless that they brought up or the Blight? One of the two, I can't remember now. Oh, they also brought up the Drengir as well, which is a big thing. So
Mhm.
like just even in that context, like bring it back as a history or something.
Yeah,
I
that'd be
don't know.
cool. I think
It's
this has
hard.
been my theory, and it's just cheating a little bit because I had thought about this before, and I just kind of popped into my head again. If they took the main novels and they made those trilogies, phase one trilogy, phase two trilogy, phase three trilogy, and those were the movies. Then they made the YA books into television shows
Oh yeah.
or even animation, right?
Animation ones, I'd be okay with that.
Yeah, because then you could make the characters look exactly like they look. Because you could think about it, a Clone Wars style animation, Rebels, Clone Wars, with Bad Batch, how far it's come.
Mm.
But High Republic, like that would be nuts,
That'd be
right?
so good. Yeah, because another thing about the High Republic is the Jedi are traveling everywhere. Like this
Oh,
isn't
so
just
cool.
Coruscant, Tatooine base. Like they're everywhere. So it could be different adventures on different planets all the time. There's so many different temples in the High Republic era, and they're building new temples on new planets all the time. And there's even Jedi that don't even know that there's a temple on the planet a little bit farther out. Whereas now it's like, oh, Coruscant, Coruscant. Like,
Yeah,
come
yeah.
on,
I feel like
guys, get in
that's.
there.
I know that's the thing is I feel like I'm screaming at the top of my lungs and no one's listening. Everything that you've ever wanted, everyone who's like Old Republic, like this is as close as we're going to get right now to the Old Republic, and it's like there's tons and tons of. There's not any Sith that we know of. They could easily be like sneaking around in the background. I mean, I'm sure they are because the rule of two probably
Yeah.
never stopped, and with Chimera and stuff like that. But um, and how long Plagueis was on, I don't know the numbers for all those and whatever they decide to do with it, but
Mhm.
like everything you want Star Wars to be, and everyone who's like, well, I want Jedi, I don't want this, I don't want all this, like the High Republic is all about Jedi. It has this villain that starts out as like this little boy and turns
Yeah.
into an absolute psychopath, maniac, controlling half the galaxy. He's terrifying. The Nameless are terrifying. The Blight's terrifying. Like you have the Jedi scared. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, and
Like so scared that they're vomiting and unable to like even exist. Like it's so good. It's so good.
yeah, and yeah, I mean, it just I don't know. I know, like I said, we're probably just screaming into the darkness here, but people need to read this. They need to figure out a way. Disney Plus, Lucasfilm, they've got to figure out a way, even if it's 2 or 3 seasons of like these main characters just doing stuff prior to. But you could set a 23 episode season of, um, like they used to do in the old days. I'm not sure they'll do that anymore. We'll get 12 or 20 or something, but of first season is Light of the Jedi. You know what I
Mm.
mean? And like just do a season, a book, or I mean, I feel like they would need more to tell a really great story, but I don't know. I just yeah, I don't know.
Well, even like the fact that the Jedi back then were so much more connected to the Force too. Like, and you
Yes,
can
that's
even
another thing. Yeah,
this is the height, the golden age of the Jedi. Like this is where they peaked, you know? Like this was before they were like consumed with being a part of the Republic and stuff like that. So like
yeah,
in the High Republic era, they're just Jedi that are serving the galaxy. bringing peace and justice to different planets everywhere. Yes, they do help with the Republic because they think that they see eye to eye in helping people. But when we get to like a Phantom Menace or like a Clone Wars era, they're just so involved with the Republic that they won't even help with the separatists like, stuff. And then, so whereas they should just be kind of helping
Neutral.
everyone. Yeah, they need to be neutral. The Jedi need to be neutral, and they're not in the time that we know of. Whereas in the High Republic, they are what the Jedi are supposed to be.
Yeah,
Like they
100%.
feel the Force through a song, like through the
Yes,
winds. It's beautiful.
yeah,
God.
it's so much so cool. Like you find out how Master Andara sees the Force, and it's really cool.
Yeah,
And
or
it's just
I'll
like,
see it.
and I love that. And I know that's not how the Force works. Okay,
Ugh.
like people, George created this thing, and he had no idea where it was going to steamroll. Like we got to build on it, we got to continue it, and just to have it be blah the Force, like. Some of them see it as lines and like was it yarn that connects everybody, and just how they
Yeah.
see the Force. And I don't know, I love it, love it, love it, love it. And so I don't know, but yeah, once you get to 184, is that what I said? Yeah, 184. Um, you'll know
You,
what I want
you'll
to
have
talk
like
about. So
6 missed calls. Ah, I'm
yeah,
screaming. Well,
so
I can't
but
understand.
anyway,
Sorry, Molly. I gotta call her back.
yeah. So, but anyways, we'll end there. Maybe we'll bring that topic up, the topic I had for another time. I know next week, like I said, next week is gonna be really fun. Our new friend Josh is coming on. He's probably gonna rip us up. He seems real smart, real intelligent, well written. There he is. Actually, I didn't even know he's here. Hey, Yins. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. High Republic fans, were you all disappointed that the Acolyte was a story about the beginning of the end for that idyllic time? Would you have preferred to just see the perfect Jedi? See, that's
No,
not what the High Republic is.
there's no such thing as a perfect Jedi because throughout the High Republic we have Elzar Mann who's struggling, we have Avar Kriss who's struggling. They're all struggling in their own ways. Look at uh what's the old dude? Aslan. Aslan's totally messed up. My
Oh, yeah.
goodness. Yeah, but yeah. I don't want to say that I didn't like The Acolyte because I did enjoy it. There's just parts that were so to left field that we weren't expecting it at all.
And it
And
wasn't a good.
fortunately, that's not the taste that we kind of went for. Like I'm going for chocolate. Yeah, mint. Whoa. I don't know.
Yeah, no, yeah, Josh, again, Taylor and I've read everything, the comics, the young reader books, the mid grade books, the young adult stuff, all the novels. Taylor's read a couple of them multiple times. I haven't had that opportunity. I think Light of the Jedi I've read twice. Um, I think that it's a better story about what the Jedi really should be, yet they're still flawed. None of them are perfect, except for maybe Stellan. He seems like he doesn't make a lot of mistakes, but he is the fallen star. So there's just so much in it, man. Like just so much in this narrative, in this stories that is missing from some of the Star Wars stuff. And again, like I like parts of the Acolyte. I love Force Fu. I liked the lightsaber battles and some
Yeah,
other
that was
things
really
like
cool.
that. But some of it, the writing and stuff like that, didn't work for me necessarily. And wasting 2 episodes on the same store. I don't know. I understand why they were doing things they did, and again, I'm not at that level where I can create like that or produce or direct or write. So, what would I have done? Who knows? But I'm not there. So, yeah, no, I think that the Acolyte gives the High Republic kind of a bad name, and the fact that they're like, oh, even in some of the publishing stuff, but if if you
Mhm.
get it, we're gonna be in a lull of Star Wars here shortly. Well, we are now. For people who just watch shows and don't like read comics or read books, for whatever reason, if you want more Star Wars, read the damn High Republic. Get through Light of
Yes.
the Jedi. Get through it. It's a great book. It's just kind of overwhelming at first. It
Yeah.
really is. Like, as someone who loves the High Republic and sings its praises, I still am like, whew, that was a lot,
You know
So
what? And you know what? People that are intimidated by that, you can even start with is it Into the Dark?
yeah.
by Claudia Gray. That's a good one. Not so many characters. You're getting the vibe of the High Republic and you're figuring out where people are and stuff like that. So that might even be a better, easier start.
Yeah. No, you're
There.
right.
But
You can kind of go
thanks.
back and kind of because it doesn't really set up a ton of things. I mean, it
Mhm.
does, but you could probably get around it. You're right.
Yeah.
So, but anyways, yeah. So, Josh, long story short, I think the Acolyte kind of does the High Republic dirty in the fact that they're like, oh, this is, oh, Anakin Crespin's here. What's up, Anakin? It's been a while. Um, but yeah, so I don't know if that helps answer the question. I don't know how much you've read of it, Josh, but it's, I don't know. I don't even know how to explain myself. It's so good. But
I know.
anyways,
Just don't think that the High Republic is like the Acolyte.
yeah, it's not.
With
It's
They're
different.
they're completely different.
And the one character that crosses over is completely different. She's incredible. I
Yeah.
hate those fans that say that's not my Luke Skywalker, but I really did. I felt their pain watching Vernestra on screen.
Yeah.
It was
That's
like
not
that's not my
Vern.
Vernestra, but the story is being driven that way so that she becomes like that. So it is what it is.
Yeah.
And you'll see when you get close to the end of this book. But anyway, so I just want to thank everybody for joining us online over at Instagram and here on YouTube. And Josh says, I am up on the comics, but I'm behind on the books. I like the audiobooks because they have music and sound effects. Oh, yeah. And yeah, we were just talking about that earlier. Anything with Mark Thompson narrates is just about perfect.
Oh
But
yeah.
he also sets a standard for book narration that not a lot of people can follow. Mark's a good friend of the show. We have had him on a couple of times. Just an incredibly nice guy as well. But Taylor, I want to thank you for coming on. I kind of knew I didn't really need a second topic if we were going to dive into this High Republic stuff, because I knew you and I could probably talk
Yeah.
for 4 hours on it. But so I want to thank you for coming on. Thanks for doing double duty this week for us.
Yeah, and I think I'll see you guys again soon.
Yes.
Yeah.
As soon as you finish the book.
I'll get on it.
There you go. So no pressure. She's usually like a week ahead of me. So this is like a first.
Usually.
Yeah,
Usually.
usually. So, but anyways, thanks everybody. We'll see you guys next week. Mike will be back. Josh from the comments section here from TBR.com will be back. I can't wait to get to meet him in person and just have a great conversation about Star Wars. And for all of us, we have spoken. We'll see you guys next week.
See ya.